CRM, dynamic CRM. Sorry, Alan, we won't get to Sage here today. We'll do that on another webinar. But thanks for being here. This is basically the demo presentation of what we just delivered to our clients in the roadshow. And after we pulled all of this together, we thought, hey, this would be really good just to share it internally. For those of you who haven't had a chance to see Dynamic CRM, it's really a great tool. And what we've done is we've integrated it with Office 365. So, you know, as Microsoft is moving everyone to the cloud and us ultimately becoming a cloud service provider, embedding these tools together with interoperability really it's important for us because that's how we really need to present the Microsoft stack. But what's even more important is what it does for CRM in particular. When you have an interoperable system, it really starts to eliminate all the things that sales and marketing people have to do when it comes to different applications. And I'll talk a little bit about what that means, but I think what's most importantly is get into the demo so you can actually see it in action. We've actually got some of this stuff already live in our current CRM environment, but as we move to 2015 in the future and connect it even closer with Office 365, you'll see a lot of these things starting to get embedded in our own instance of CRM. So what I've done is I've shortened the kind of high-level fluff stuff just to get right in the demo because I figured, you know, you guys consultants, you hear consultants talk all the time, so you don't want to hear more of that. But I did want to at least start off with what our messaging is related to CRM. So we're talking to our clients about get, grow, and keep. Every company we talk to, they're trying to do one or all three of those. Either get new customers, meaning a brand new customer, new logo. They're trying to grow the existing relationships. Many of our existing customers today are growing existing revenue with existing customers. They're a mature company. They are trying to roll out new products and new services to existing customers, so a lot of them are focused on growing their own revenue with existing customers. And then finally, keeping satisfied. So again, mature customers, keeping customers satisfied, issue resolution with cases and other capabilities. What's great about that is get, grow, and keep aligns to marketing, sales, and service. So as we're talking to an organization, you know, if they're talking about, you know, growing revenue with existing accounts, we know we got to be talking to the salespeople. If they're talking about we need net new logos, that's marketing. So it helps us to get functionally aligned. And I mentioned this in the in the all hands meeting that we had in August about what's really important in CRM. And CRM, more than ERP, more than BI, really needs to have, for the people that are in the field, right in front of a customer, in that moment of truth when the customer asks you, hey, do you have this information? Do you know my last order? Do you know an issue that I have? If a person in the field or in front of a customer doesn't have the right data at the right time, at the right device, and make it easy to use, the CRM system goes away because they'll find different ways to get that information. So what our job is to do is to provide that to our clients in every situation we can to make it easy to use. This is Dynamic CRM. Microsoft's done an awesome job in terms of filling out the end-to-end portfolio of CRM from first marketing to then sales and then service. This is just the end-to-end graphic, if you will, or process. And I presented this at the all hands meeting, but I just wanted to do a quick refresher because, you know, from market planning to outreach and communications to qualifying, engaging, selling, to then closing an order and servicing customer, Microsoft basically has all that. But what really is important is taking that Office stack, Outlook, Exchange, Yammer, Parature, all the other components of Microsoft and bringing it together so that we can provide our clients with a more holistic solution, and most importantly, figuring out where they use each component and make it very easy to get from CRM to another place, whether it's a Word document, an Excel document, Power BI, and other places. Okay, I'm going to do a show of hands in Cincinnati. How many people have seen CRM 2015? Okay, we got about maybe four, maybe about half of the group here. The great thing about 2015.
What are we using internally?
We're using 2013.
Okay.
And we're an on-premise version. Obviously, Microsoft's moving everyone to the cloud, so we're looking at moving to the cloud ourselves with 2015. But this is a quick snapshot, and one of the key things and a big differentiator in CRM selection is, does it look good? Because if it doesn't look good, you're out with sales and marketing people. I mean, you are just done. So you've got to have a UI that looks good, that feels like, wow, I can navigate this. It's usable. I can find things easily. The more you can have it graphic oriented, the better it is for marketing and salespeople. Melissa's nodding her head.
Those deep marketing and salespeople.
Right, exactly. But Microsoft's done a really nice job of first testing this UI, and they did it with their marketing application when they first rolled this out, and then they embedded what they learned into Dynamics CRM. So took all those learnings and put it in here. You can see at the top, just navigation is easy. You got the ribbon at the top with easy to find places with where your work is, and it's graphically oriented, so once you get used to some of the graphics and icons, you can find it. One of the things with CRM that's really important is putting a process in place. ERP systems have processes in place. You don't operate an ERP system without a process being defined and being able to go from step A to step B to step C. The thing is with sales and marketing, there's not always, and especially with many of our clients, they don't always have a process. Marketing is try this. It's like shotgun approach, changing all the time. And sales, oftentimes, with many of our clients, is just dependent on how good that salesperson is. So if we can help an organization transition from selling based on the person that they hire to making it more of a consistent and repeatable action in an organization, that's where we can add a lot of value to our clients. So Dynamics was built around process-driven. So at the top of all the screens, you kind of see this ribbon, if you will, of what the process steps are. All configurable, very customizable. And the other thing is you can also put in rules. So if for Melissa to qualify a sale, she's got to understand, do they have a budget? Do I have a decision maker? Do I have a time frame? So those could be rules that need to be in place to qualify. So those rules can then help salespeople to be more effective as well. And then finally, collaborating. And this is especially important for us. So all of us CRM users know that the collaboration pane by accounts, you can see the latest activity. But as companies get more and more sophisticated and they start using service and cases and marketing is touching companies and they've got lots of different activity going on, this becomes more and more relevant and more important, because when a salesperson goes out to meet with his customer, they need to know who's talked to them, because they feel like if they don't know and the customer brings it up, they're in a situation where, like, oh my gosh, I don't know something, and now it makes it a little bit more difficult to develop a relationship, show that you know everything about the company, and to sell to them. Except for Melissa. All right. This is the last kind of screenshot. Just to level set with everyone, with CRM, and most CRM systems are like this, highly configurable. I mean, literally every field, you can define what the field is, where it is on a form, what forms you're using, what process it is, and what workflow to get to form to form. So literally, it's like clay. I mean, you can mold this thing to be anything you want it to be. So what we need to do is take advantage of the real estate. And I've been in meetings with clients that have told us, we need this field and this field and this field and this field and this field. And we go and we build it for them. And then 6 months later, we go and visit them. How you doing with that? And you take a look at their system, and guess what? There's a lot of empty fields. We've done some work on our own internal system, and guess what? There's a lot of empty fields. So as we go to look at 2015, we're going to be looking at stripping out all these fields that aren't being utilized, putting them in places with either as a drop-down or kind of hidden, so if they're not being used, you don't need to see them, and make it easier to navigate. So that's what this is really all about. And you got to have mobile. If you don't have mobile today, then you're playing the wrong game, because every salesperson, service, field service especially, they're out in the field. And if they don't have the ability to get out of their truck and be able to see what's going on with the customer, what my next appointment is, or if I'm a salesperson, I'm in a meeting, and you know how salespeople are, except for Melissa. They walk into a meeting, and right before they get there, they're like, who am I meeting with? So they want to check who's going to be in this meeting, and they've got to be able to do that, and then check in the past, like what orders have they placed, what cases do they have, etc. So we've got to have mobile. And the great thing is Dynamics has mobile configured for the laptop, for the tablet, and for your phone. How many people have our CRM on their phone? Melissa's going to go set it up after this meeting. It's actually very easy to use and out of the box. It's super easy to set up. So something that we should all be using. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about Get Customers, and I'm going to turn it over to Megan, who's going to do a demo. So start with marketing, because marketing is almost always the place where getting new customers they have the responsibility, right? But the thing is with marketers, and hey Julie, this might be a good time for you to chime in. If there is no one silver bullet for marketers, there's no answer for how to go get a new customer. So they need a lot of different tools in order to be able to do that. Up on the screen is basically, this is an illustration that I pulled. Most of this is from Click Dimensions, and with the capabilities that are in Click Dimensions. And the big difference is that marketers, most of the time, have multiple tools. So they're doing email marketing with a tool like Constant Contact, and they are doing social discovery with a Hootsuite or another application. They may, if they're lucky, they're doing lead scoring, but they're basically using a lot of different tools. So they have tool overload. None of it's integrated, and what happens is you end up with a lot of lists. I mean, if you guys ever have a chance to talk to a marketer, just ask them, do you have a lot of lists in your company? Because marketers have a list for an event, they have a list that they give to sales, sales will come up with a list that they're going to target, and before they know it, they have so many lists, they can't keep track of who they've communicated to, how often, and what to communicate next. So just by consolidating that is a big value for them. Marketers also oftentimes don't have complete ROI and metrics connecting everything, so that's another component, especially when you embed BI with that, Nathan. So, I mean, that gives one great picture of all the capability or all the ROI that a marketer needs to see. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is marketing qualified leads. Most organizations aren't mature yet. In a sales process, you have marketing qualified leads, where marketing says they meet the following criteria, I'm going to hand them to sales. And then sales has a sales accepted lead, where sales says, yes, that meets my criteria, I accept it. And most companies are not there yet. So that creates an opportunity for us to be able to help them understand what it means to market and sell effectively. Bottom line is, marketers with one CRM database are going to be much more effective because it can manage lists and they can segment their customer base with very targeted messages. So I'm going to pause there, and I'm going to turn it over to Megan. Megan, can you take control, or do I need to give that to you?
You have to give it to me.
Okay, good luck with that.
Go to the left. Go to the left.
I gave it to her.
We're under the microphone. See if there's some options over there.
Hold on, Julie's looking out for me.
I got control
right.
for open. Thank you. Okay, so everyone, really quick, we're going to do a little bit of a demo for CRM, but I know there's some people on the call that I haven't met.
Hey, Megan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let me just do a quick intro, and then you can kind of do that too. Sorry about that. So Megan joined our company, what, in June, Megan?
Yeah.
Right. And she's done an awesome job in picking up Dynamics, digging into it, learning everything about it, and she set up a demo environment for us. So what's great is this is not the 90-day demo environment. This is our permanent demo environment that we have. So we can do things with it that we weren't able to do in the 90-day world, where we can integrate it with different applications. We can set it up with, well, we can integrate it with GP if we have the right situation. We've integrated it with Office 365. So this is what we can now show to our clients and prospects. And this is basically what we did on the roadshow. And she's done an awesome job in picking up on all the tools, getting it all set up, and now doing these demos for the roadshow and for us here. So, Megan, if you got anything else to add, please do.
I think that's it. Thank you. So looking at CRM, one of the things that Rob mentioned was you have to have mobile. And so you guys are actually looking at a screen of my phone. And so this is the CRM mobile app, which I know all of you guys are going to go download. And so what happens is a lot of times people have these conversations with, people they end up talking to about work, or, they start meeting someone at a trade show. And a lot of times you grab their business card, and then you have no idea where that business card goes. It gets lost, it gets misplaced, whatever. So instead of using business cards, you can use the CRM mobile app. And so the CRM mobile app, this is my home screen, this is my dashboard, and it has everything that CRM Web has. It just is a little bit more condensed so that you can easily navigate. So here, say I meet someone at a trade show, I can open up my open leads and be able to see all of them. And of course, I'm on Wi-Fi, so it's not going to like that. But you can see here all of my different leads, and I can go into each of them. And so here we have, a very cool lead, Cheryl. She may work for our marketing team, but that's fine. And so going in here, you can see the information that I've already kind of gathered about her. And so by doing this, I'm able to easily see what information I've gathered, what information I need to collect, and be able to follow up. When I go in and talk to her, I can see here, we already have her as a lead, she's interested. It kind of gives you a little bit of an edge as to when you go into a situation that you may not be comfortable with. And then, so now we can go, back to our desk, and we've got our CRM web. And so this is the
concept there was if a marketer or someone goes into like a trade show or something, you'd be walking the floor, meet someone, hey, potential lead, quick to enter it right on your mobile phone, and then that's sent over to the office, and now you have someone in the office who can follow up on it.
Buckeye, huh?
And so, and something that, is really useful that we're not sure how many people are utilizing, but would like to be are dashboards. So dashboards allow you to put up to 6 components. That includes lists, charts, various forms of information, and to be able to access a lot of those pieces that you already use. So here, you can see all of my activities that I've got going on, so I know, what I have going on for the week. And using Outlook, I can actually track all of my Outlook activities and tasks and appointments and put them right into CRM so that I have a single place and I'm not trying to, find a whole bunch of sticky notes all over my desk. And then I also have all of my open leads. So here you can see Cheryl. So I actually entered her on my phone earlier, and she's going to show up on my dashboard. And so she can either be, assigned to a team or another person, and that way you can really move through the sales process a little bit easier. And then also, so here I've got the sales leaderboard. And this is just a chart that's been put into CRM that, gives me a piece of information that I'm interested in learning. And CRM allows you to click and drill down into them. So say I'm interested, what is Lee doing? Like, what are his closes? And so here I can see the one specifically that he's closed and get a little bit more information just based off of a chart that's on my dashboard. And you can custom the charts and pin a variety of them to your dashboard. So then, we're going to go into a lead. And, Rob said one of the problems is a lot of white space. And so something that is big with CRM is being able to understand the business processes and trying to organize things in the most effective and useful manner. So here you can see, we have this business process flow, and the business process flow kind of allows you to set certain stages and move through that process. So, as I learn more things, I can mark things complete and move things on in the process just to make things a little bit more organized. And then you can also use this to, send notifications. So if, once I've qualified this lead and it moves into develop, the sales team will get notified. So you can really kind of move your whole business process through here. And then, so say, I've talked to Cheryl, I decide she's going to buy, and I can qualify this, and so moving from a lead, it will then make it into an opportunity. And so by doing this, you can kind of continuously track the pieces of information you've already collected rather than having to go back and start over or try and gather that information again, or even having a whole bunch of records all at once.
So Megan, I noticed that Cheryl didn't have a phone number here.
Cheryl does not have a phone number here. And Cheryl, okay, so one of the things that we can do is we can put in a phone number, and this is actually already integrated in our internal. So if you're not using it, that's something that is really cool. And you can see her number turned blue. And so by clicking on this number, it will actually open up either Skype or for us, Skype for Business, or you can have it open up Ring Central. And so then that will then actually dial Cheryl and call her phone right from within CRM. And then what's even cooler is it will open up a phone call task. So when I press on her number, and then I can enter information, you know, and say what the description is and what happened. And so when I hit OK, anyone who's looking at this record can go in and see, oh, you know, the admin, Megan, had a conversation with Cheryl, and here's what they talked about. So that way, you know, when they're trying to learn a piece of information quickly or see what's going on, it's a little bit easier to do that through this activities pane.
So in our roadshow, we demoed the phone call, and Cheryl actually, you know, her phone rang, so it was kind of cool.
That is cool.
And right now, we actually have another demo for a client, so I don't have Skype set up, but it pops up into your window, so that way you don't have to go hunting for things.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the whole thing is how can we make it very easy for a sales or marketer to not have to pop around to different places. So the more that you can just leverage what's there right in front of you to go to the place that's next, the easier it's going to be to use, and the more use and adoption we'll have.
Right, get to the point where you want to qualify this lead
Fast.
or disqualify it one
Right.
way or another to be able to move to the next stage.
Mm-hmm.
Spot on.
Try it again.
Is that is it back to me, Megan, or is there more you have?
That's it for this one.
Okay. So what did we just go through? So Megan illustrated mobile. She got in a little bit of event management, but we didn't get into it deeply. But there is event management capabilities within CRM as well, and it's great for marketers. Click Dimensions has similar functionality, but to be able to have different events like webinars, for instance, and have follow-up processes for those events for email campaigns afterwards with some rules, which I'll talk about in a minute. Lead qualification, so she went through some of that, didn't do any lead scoring, but what we literally do for our leads is when a lead comes in through Click Dimensions, they all get scored. So based on how much time they spent on a website, how did they open the email or not open the email, did they click through to the website, that all gets scored so that Alex, when she's following up on leads, she knows this is a hot lead because they've been on our website for 10 minutes already versus someone who just maybe opened an email and that was it. Skype, so she illustrated Skype, sales process, we covered that. The dashboard, so you saw the first dashboard. I'm going to talk a little bit more about marketers' dashboards, and then list import. Megan, why don't you talk about list import, because I know you didn't demo that here.
Okay, so for CRM, it has a variety of list imports. So when you're, you know, I know recently with the IBIS, a lot of their clients came in, and so there was a giant list of all these clients, and no one wants to sit there and manually enter them. I know Rebecca did some of that, but there's definitely easier ways, and so CRM allows you to use templates and just import your Excel files that will automatically map to your fields. And through that process, you can move large amount of data into the system easily and be able to track how that data is moving.
And at the same time, check for duplicates, because duplicate contact records is a big problem many companies have. So this gives you the opportunity to consolidate them or to eliminate the ones you don't want. Okay, cool. Can you hit the next slide? So we didn't go into much marketing functionality, but I did want you to at least walk away with a little taste of what marketers are able to do nowadays. Modern marketing is all about how can I automate tasks. And, you know, in the world of trying to sell to people today, it's not like you send an email and then you just wait for them to respond and say, yeah, I'm going to buy. Email campaigns are all about nurture marketing or drip marketing. So a drip campaign is basically you send them an email, wait 3 days, send them another email, like the second email, wait 3 days. If they open that one, send them this one. If they did not open, do this action. And embedded, this is Click Dimensions. Dynamics Marketing has similar functionality, but you're able to take and basically lay out a marketing campaign and all the actions and what you want to have happen with rules. So if they open, then send lead to salesperson and create phone call activity. So those are the things that you can do within the application, and you can, obviously this really helps when you're automating things, it really helps a marketer to be much more effective. So really super powerful tool. And then dashboards. So dashboards, this is a quick snapshot of dashboards. It's really hard to see, so apologize for that. But these are dashboards based on webinars. So a series of webinars are listed there based on attendance, those that attended versus those that signed up, and then you can see trends. So this helps a marketer to understand, oh, is that campaign that I had to draw attendance working or not? And if not, I can make changes. Those help them to be more effective marketers. And we can create all kinds of dashboards, as you guys well know. And Nathan loves to do that too in Power BI. All right, let's talk about growing revenue. This is about selling to existing accounts. If you click to the next slide. So the probability of being successful in selling a new product, you're literally 6 times more likely to sell to an existing customer than to a new customer. Those numbers have been proven time and time again. It also costs 6 times more to sell to a new customer than to an existing customer. And most organizations love to get net new logos. It's all about, hey, who's got the big win? You know, we'll do all kinds of things to get a win with a new customer, spend lots of money, give discounts, etc. But the reality is you're more likely with your existing customer base to sell to them, continue to sell to them. The other thing that's interesting is with when someone leaves, 68% of the time they cite the reason I left is because I wasn't getting attention. Wasn't getting a call from a salesperson or from their service department. I just didn't feel like I was loved. So you're more likely to leave. So if you hit the next slide, what salespeople today, this is on average, except for Melissa, they only spend 22% of their time selling. The rest of the time is literally doing administrative tasks, planning, playing golf, and other things, going to lunch probably. but they really only spend 22% of their time in actual selling. And if we can help them get more time selling, just 1% of their time, if a salesperson has $1 million quota in there, and we give them 1% of their time, that's $45,000. Multiply that by 10 salespeople, you're talking $450,000. So that's where we can really be effective. But how do we do that? If you click down, there's 2 things that we need to do within CRM, and can do, to help salespeople get more selling time. One is to help salespeople plan their day. So, you know, when a salesperson starts their day, if they've got lists of here's the top things to work on, and can make them more effective in not following up with the things that are unimportant, but those that are most likely to close, those that are most likely to have the highest success, then that's where we can help them be more effective. And the other thing is to automate CRM. So I don't know about you guys, but one thing I hate to do is, okay, I got a new lead, go into CRM, go find the account, click through, go find the fields, enter all the data and that stuff, and then, you know, 10 minutes into it, you're like, wow, I just spent 10 minutes on CRM. We got to eliminate that. It's got to be super easy and super fast. So if I've got when I get an email in from a client or a prospect, connect it to CRM, it's automatic, and then from there on, it's automatically done. So the more that we can automate, the more effective that we can be. And the great thing is with Dynamics and being connected with Outlook and Exchange, emails, calendar, tasks, it's all connected, and it makes it very easy for a salesperson. That's our #1 selling value proposition with Dynamics CRM, because we go in to talk to a prospect about Salesforce.com, and the first thing they say is, well, you know, I got to go over here for Outlook, and then I got to go over here for Salesforce, and I click this button, then I got to go back into Salesforce and attach it to a record. So now I'm spending all this time working in both systems just to get an email attached to something that's in Salesforce. When we can eliminate that, it makes their day much more effective and uses their time better. Okay. I think a lot of you guys are probably using Inside View. It's a great tool. What Inside View does is it pulls data from LinkedIn, Facebook, and other websites where they've got, or other places where they've made arrangements to get data on people in business. And it provides that information to be able to make better connections. So this is an example. This is Sarnova. This is our client. This is public data. There you can see, this is my screenshot. So you can see the CFO. I've got one connection to, I don't know Mark, but I've got a connection to him. If I'm a salesperson, that helps me to figure out, man, if I'm selling to that guy, I don't want to just cold call. That doesn't happen anymore. No one answers the phone. You're not going to answer an email from someone you don't know. You need an introduction. So if you can make it more effective to find out who knows Mark that I know that can get me an introduction, that's where a salesperson is going to be effective. So it's a really good tool. Automate research, tap relationships. And finally, sales leadership. What we need to do is help sales leaders lead. A lot of organizations, sales leaders they're challenged to lead because most often they were a salesperson, they got promoted to a sales manager. They know how to sell, but they don't know how to lead. So we've got to help them learn how to lead. And just simple things like having a pipeline and understanding what's in the beginning and the middle and the end of a pipeline is important. And how do you manage what's in those areas of a pipeline? If you can see it, you can start to manage it. So we can help them to be a manager and then start to help them move things through the pipeline. So things at the end of the month need to be closed. So if they can get to the stuff very quickly and easy at the end of the month and tap into the data itself, they can call up a sales rep and say, hey, listen, you've got a deal that's ready to be closing. I can help you. I want to help you. How can we move that along? So having the data at their fingertips is really effective for a sales leader, and that's how we can help them lead. And I think it's over to you.
It is. Okay, so generally people like to start, either with a to-do list, a list of things that they have to get done during the day or the week, just to look forward and be able to organize themselves a little bit better. So if you're going to do that, here we're going to go back to our dashboard and be able to see my activities. And so this way, I can add and mark things complete and be able to track these to specific accounts. So, if I'm working on a few tasks for a certain client, I can easily add those and be able to see, know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing and for who at that time, rather than having to try and remember, what did this share amount actually mean and what am I supposed to do with it. And then the other thing that, Rob's kind of mentioned quite a bit is Outlook. Most people like to start with their email. They like to know, kind of what's going on and what's happened. And so CRM actually connects to your Outlook, so there is an integration, and a lot of you should actually have it. If you don't, it's very easy to install. But what it allows you to do is literally integrate all of CRM into your Outlook. So here is my entire CRM just in a tab on Outlook. So that way when I'm working with CRM and trying to check my emails and all that, I don't have to keep going back and forth between different applications and trying to organize both of those. And then the other really cool thing is in Mail, I can actually track specific emails to CRM records. So by doing this, I can create a history of what's happening outside of CRM that may be related to either a client or an account. So if you go up here and you hit CRM, you have your phone calls, emails, appointments, and all of these things kind of relate to either the record itself or different records. And then you can see here, so right now I have it tracked. I actually can set up rules so that emails from a specific domain or from a specific user can automatically be tracked. And so I can easily untrack or retrack it. And so when I do retrack it, it'll say regarding. And this regarding can be an account, a lead, an opportunity. It can pretty much be anything inside of CRM. And so that way, when I click on it, it will actually open up CRM right from inside of my Outlook. I don't have to go into a different website. I don't have to go anywhere to try and track down this specific record. And so this just kind of creates that consistency that makes things a little bit easier to use as you're going through your daily processes and being able to try and keep things as organized as possible.
Just to add to that, when you click the track button, as Rob was alluding to before, not going, let's say you wanted to create a lead, if you just go in and track, another part of that opens up where it just says convert to, and one of the options is lead. So you can take an email and directly convert it to a lead just by hitting the track button first, and then going to the convert to and choose lead, and that form is going to be, it's at least going to start off with the name and the email address to get you started. So you're still basically within Outlook and CRM at the same time.
So that's a great point, Tony. And kind of to go off of that, as you can kind of see, we all know that the Outlook client is finicky and brings its challenges. So as we're looking to upgrade to CRM 2015, 2016, we tend to take advantage of a lot of the new features that Microsoft's released around server-side sync and all that. So hopefully the goal is that we're going to be tracking a lot of your emails, syncing a lot of your appointments, syncing a lot of your contacts without the need for you guys to intervene at all. The goal is that the server is going to be taking care of a lot of that stuff as we upgrade so that we can kind of move away from this Outlook client. And more importantly, within 2016, they've introduced an Outlook client add-on that's going to work right in the Office 365 email. So there may be a shift towards moving away from the Outlook client and you actually being able to leverage the web-based email, which is right within Office 365. So we're exploring those avenues as we look to upgrade to really automate a lot of these tracking activity processes, because we want the salespeople to be focused on selling, we want the account managers to be focused on managing their accounts, and the more we can do with not having to make that manual process, I think will benefit everybody.
Very true, and benefiting everyone. So looking at, Office 365, continuing that note, there is also other integrations that have kind of come to play recently. And so, I open up this opportunity that I've tracked my email to. Well, I now have the ability to integrate OneNote. So I can have a specific notebook for an opportunity or for a contact or for whatever that may be, so that, when I am sitting there listening to this person talk about what they're looking for, I can just type in these notes, and anyone who has access to this record will be able to see my notes. So that way, say I pass this on to someone else, they can easily just read through my notes and pick up. I don't have to go and, share my notes through email, try and find new things, and I can make sure that they have all of the information they need to be as effective as possible. And then you can also see here this fun Yammer tab. So you guys have noticed, we're trying to use Yammer a little bit more internally, and as we continue to do so, being able to use it in terms of our sales process as well as potentially follow through and organize things a little bit in order to create a bigger knowledge base for all of us. And then, so this is actually sort of happened currently on our internal, but something that Microsoft has really focused on is their SharePoint integration. So SharePoint, we use it internally, but it is, a great place for documents and for a local storage area. And so through that, you can actually store your documents related to a CRM record. So for here, in my opportunity, I've uploaded the contract as well as a few other documents that pertain to this. And so by doing that, I can track when was this last modified, who was it last modified by. So when I receive an email that, someone's asking, oh, can you send the updated version of the contract? I don't have to go hunt around the office trying to figure out who had the last version. When was it sent, and is that actually the truest version? And so that just kind of creates this easier functionality and understanding. And then the last thing that, kind of really happened with...
Hey, Megan, I see that you're not drilling into that, but I can say this, because for the sales team that is using SharePoint connected to an opportunity so I can get to a document, I've got to review the CRM proposals before they go out. Whenever they're already in Dynamics CRM, it makes it so much easier, because then you go to you got one document, you're tracking changes, you can see who's edited it, it's great. Versus the old way of sending emails around and you're like, oh, is that the version or is this the version? And, then you got to save it down and figure out which is the last one. So it's really good.
Okay, so yeah, so definitely things that you can use in your everyday processes and what you're actually already doing, and just make it a little bit easier. And then something else that's going to make it a little bit easier is, so Office 365 includes Excel Online. And so for CRM, Excel Online actually allows you to edit records directly within CRM. So if you have a list of all of your activities, and say you got sick for 2 days and now you want to bump them all back 2 days, you can open them up in CRM Online and be able to quickly make these edits and actually save the changes directly to CRM. So by doing that, you have a little bit more flexibility with the data that you're manipulating, as well as a little bit more ability to change the data and create a little more interesting pieces from what you already have in CRM.
So the bottom line is most people want to work in Excel because it's easier to manage lists, to do reporting, things like this. What's great about this is it's easy to export it, make changes, and bring it back in. It's dangerous because you don't want to bring in big lists with lots of changes, so you have to manage it, but it really makes it easy to do. Chad, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just saying, if there was one thing to take away from this is that, Rob talked about interoperability. I think that's one thing that we're really trying to focus on this upgrade is that I think as you guys just saw, we're able to bring PowerPoint, Excel, Word, OneNote, Yammer, your email, almost all the applications that you work in a day-to-day basis, we're able to bring that right into CRM without having to leave. So we think that that's going to be very advantageous to us moving into the future, and that's how we're selling this to all of our clients, is that this really is a system. It's not just your CRM. This is how you're going to accomplish a lot of your day-to-day tasks, and it's highly customizable. So hopefully that's kind of what you take away, is that we're going to leverage all these new features and give it to you guys to, so everyone can do their job better.
Cool, thanks, Chad. So what did we just show? The dashboard list. So make it easy for a salesperson to have lists of things that need to get done or accomplished. Outlook client email integration, again, make it seamless. Office 365, SharePoint, Word, Excel, showed that. The integration and updating. The social pane collaborating, whether it be Yammer or OneNote, phone calls and tasks all in one place for an account or a contact, makes it easy to find out who's worked on this lately. There's also, we didn't go through this, but there's also a what's new section that you can have as well. So what's new in the accounts that you have, it would pop up with all the information that is related to those accounts. Someone sent an email or posted a new contract or something like that. We didn't get into the extension with quotes and orders, but Dynamics has the ability to take pricing lists and product lists, bring them together to produce quotes. So there's some configuration, of course, involved in that, but imagine creating a Word document as a quote, saving it to SharePoint, sending it to client. Client says, hey, change this, come back, you change it quickly back in SharePoint. Your manager can approve it all aligned with clicks and not looking for files all over the place and trying to figure out where's it stored, who's got the latest version and all that. And then converting it to orders. We do this already today. We have many clients where we convert to order and then to integrate to an ERP system. Okay, Megan. So last is keeping customers satisfied. And we won't spend a lot of time on this, but keeping customers satisfied usually ends up being the responsibility of those that are delivering services or products. So it's oftentimes a call center with larger companies. So if you can click the next slide. What we want to do is enable them to be more effective. And most organizations, especially many of our clients, have evolving customer service departments, meaning they get phone calls and such like that, but they don't do a very good job of organizing the follow-up, meaning putting a process in place to discover what the problem is, investigate it, communicate internally, report back to the customer, and close it out. So just putting a process in place is helpful. So you have the same ribbon and process with cases that you do with sales process. And then the second thing is to share it internally, collaborating across the organization, whether you're using Yammer or the social pane and other things. We had actually SGS tool. Susan Murtaugh came out and she spoke in front of the group in Cleveland when we were doing this presentation. And what we've done for them is we implemented cases and integrated it into J.D. Edwards, so for return material authorization. And they love it. It's working great. Here's the situation they had. they're selling $100,000. Mostly it's carbide tools, but it's a project to build the tool and build an ROI. It's a $100,000 deal. So a salesperson would go into an account and they've got lots of other products that they're using, and the account would say, hey, listen, we've had one of your tools failed on us 2 days ago. What's going on with this situation, you know? So the salesperson is sitting there saying, oh man, wait a minute, I got to fix this problem first. So they right away become customer service instead of being sales. So they have to get on the phone, what's going on, I got to figure out what's going on, their plant's down or whatever it may be, that kind of situations. This way, they've got visibility into what is going on with this customer. So we implemented cases with return material authorization. Before they go into account, they can see on the account record, are there any open cases? Where are they? What's the status? So now when the salesperson comes in, they can say, hey, Tony, I see you reported a case 2 days ago. I want you to know that we found out what the problem is. We're working on it. We will have it resolved by the end of the day tomorrow. Does that meet your time frame? Great. Now let's talk about this $100,000 deal. That's changed the game for them in terms of how they can talk to clients in bad situations like that. So Megan, go ahead.
Okay, so, Rob said we weren't going to address it too much, but just quickly, CRM has two main ways to kind of keep customers, and one of those is reactive, which is with cases. So here, you can keep track of active cases and be able to log them. And I know we do use it internally, so it just kind of provides a lot of features to be able to collaborate a little bit easier, as well as to organize the problems that any accounts or contacts may have and keep track of those. But it's also a great way as we move forward to be able to, see what kind of cases and trends that we have, and to be able to organize the way that we solve cases and how we move about that process. And then the other way that CRM provides keeping customers is through various reports. So this is an out-of-the-box report called neglected accounts. And most companies have a list of, their top accounts that they really try and pay attention to and make sure that they're not going to lose them and they keep contact and all of that. And so CRM provides this report that shows you accounts that haven't had any activity in a certain number of days. And so you can filter this down and create these views that kind of show you a bunch of different accounts that, they haven't been reached out to. They haven't had that contact that maybe, we're trying to build as a standard. So this just kind of gives you the idea that, maybe you want to touch base and show them, oh, here's something that's new. Here's, how is this going? And an easy way to do that is through these reports are interactive, so you can actually click on this record and be able to open it up and see, when was the last contact we had and what was that. So that way you can kind of, hey, I know we contacted you about this on this day. Do you have anything else? And so that just gives you kind of an easier in, as well as a little bit more of groundwork before, you make a call for a customer that could be kind of thinking that you forgot about them. So it just creates a little bit more visibility to the client as well as for us.
Thanks, Megan. So just spent a little bit of time on case management and then just some reporting there as well. We didn't get into, hey Megan, why don't you explain collaboration with groups versus Yammer?
Okay, so Yammer, I'm hoping everyone kind of has an idea what it is, but it's business Twitter essentially, and it's a great knowledge-based tool where you can post. Groups is a little bit more extensive, but a little bit more focused. So Groups is part of the Office 365 package, and in terms of CRM, it has, you add members to these groups, so it's a little bit more limited than, us for Yammer being you can join various groups. You actually have to be invited, but it does provide a collaborative place for discussions, for a calendar, as well as how to share records through CRM. So it just kind of gives you a little bit more of a base for how to communicate with various teams.
Okay, thanks, Megan. So last slide. The bottom line is that if we can create a system that's very user-friendly and people feel like it's very comfortable to use and you feel like, wow, I can't go on in my day without using this, that drives adoption. And when you have user adoption, that drives sales closing and higher customer satisfaction. Microsoft's done a bunch of studies on it, but we know that any company that has people using CRM is more effective. This is interesting. Chad was just out at Nature's last week, and we did a second phase implementation for Nature's and really made it user-friendly, listened to the users, built the screens out exactly like with little data, but the stuff that they really need. And he just went out there and found out that Chad, what's the stat about the top users?
Yeah, so I think out of the 85, 90 employees they have in the U.S., 3 of them aren't using the system. So I think that's over a 90% user adoption rate. And we actually built them dashboards to track that, and they've been getting everybody up to speed, and that's actually how they're leveraging. If they get 100% adoption, they get to get Exchange. So that's been a good tool for them to kind of track that activity, and they've been working towards getting 100% user adoption.
But Chad, what about who are their top performers?
Oh yeah, so what they're doing is they're tracking how many activities people are doing, and they're now starting to see a correlation that the top 3 people with activities are the top 3 salespeople in their company. So it definitely lends the fact that the people that are being organized and tracking their activities and staying up to date on their opportunities are indeed the ones that are outselling everybody else.
So yeah, really is an effective tool. Part of Nature's Alpine, yeah.
And then really quick, something that we didn't address here, and we did address during the roadshows that, was incredibly helpful for us just in the whole process, was that CRM connects to a lot of different things, and there's, Microsoft tries to create that interoperability outside of just the CRM platform. So, we've worked with GP, we are currently working with NAV, but during this presentation, BI actually helped us set up an entire BI dashboard just for our demo. And so, you can create dashboards very similar to they are in CRM using the data from CRM in a BI format. So that just kind of creates this tie that, as a company, we're able to structure and organize our various areas into one.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks, Megan. That's a good closing comment here. Let me make one other closing comment, and I'll open it up for questions. So we're in the process right now of looking at our implementation of 2013 and getting requirements for what it would take to move to 2015, and looking at going online versus on-prem. The main factors about driving to online are, one, it's lower cost of ownership for one, and number 2, Microsoft is pushing everyone to go online with as much as possible and go to the cloud. So if we can align with them, we feel like we're going to be in a much better position for them to be referring us with everything we've built to prospects in the future, bigger and better prospects. So that's a little bit about where we are. Just wanted to, kind of whet your appetite with what we've been up to, what we're delivering with our clients, how we're talking about CRM, and how we're really helping organizations transform the way that they market and sell. And it literally is a transformation, because most of our clients are going from either nothing or very weak tools to something that's really powerful. And this is like, giving them a Ferrari when they're, driving a chuck wagon, So it's a pretty interesting and fun journey. How about questions?
I noticed that you had Buckeye logo. So we're going to integrate with Buckeye Distributing?
Megan, why don't you tell everyone that what you've been doing with Buckeye?
I want to see this.
So eventually that may be the potential. The AX team was very kind enough to let us use their domain so that we could host the online CRM version as well as Office 365. And so some of the features, including Yammer, require you having a domain. And so we kind of made the executive decision, and Lance allowed us to use it so that as we move forward, that is something that we'd like to consider to be able to implement an integration between the two so that, we could show clients, here's how seamless this can actually be.
So we got the foundation in place. We're planning for that. Love for a big AX deal to come through and say, hey, how can you integrate that with CRM? Yeah, well, let us do a demo.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think this is cool, but it also feels a little bit like Big Brother. Like, can I mark appointments private? Do I as an end user have the ability to keep portions of my calendar and meetings private?
Yes.
Megan, you want to answer that for everyone? Did you hear the question?
Kind of, yeah.
So I think that's a great point, and this is not meant to be Big Brother, and by no means do we plan on tracking every email you send by every appointment you put on your calendar. We're going to talk with the business leaders, we're going to talk with the end users, and we want to develop rules where we automate a lot of it for you, but you know, if you're putting a calendar on your appointment for your child's doctor appointment, we don't want that in CRM, so we have no interest in tracking that. So we're definitely going to train everyone who uses it. That'll be another thing for this internal upgrade. Training will come out different than we've done it before, so users will be trained on how to keep their private records private and how to make sure that anything pertinent to the business is getting tracked to the appropriate location.
Yeah, the bottom line is we don't want to just put data in CRM just because of data, because that makes it worse, not better. But I mean, that's a good point. There's definitely going to be more things that are trackable, but that's going to be information that's only going to make us better. If it's a salesperson that we can look at and say, wow, that salesperson has a tendency to spend a lot of time, you know, maybe doing too many emails or spending time in one part of a sales process too long. That only helps us to be able to help them. So that's the whole.
Our goal is to provide you all with enough training to where you won't have to be worried about some of your things that shouldn't be in CRM getting in there. Everyone will understand how it works, and everyone will understand how to get things into CRM, but more importantly, how to keep things out of it.
I have a question. The capability you showed with OneNote. So we've got OneNote on the opportunity screen, but then we can also store documents in SharePoint. So if I'm tracking my notes in OneNote, is it also pulling in the document attachment area in SharePoint?
That, I mean, it technically can, yes. As of right now, out of the box, it does not. It stores them as two separate so that you don't have to share. You know, if you remove your OneNote, it doesn't have to be removed from the SharePoint location. But that's something that, you know, we'd have to look at, as well as how we're going to organize the SharePoint moving forward and what features / what integrations we'd like to extend to that.
And that's something we're working through. I mean, it doesn't make sense to have a OneNote at the account level, the lead level, and the opportunity level, because how do you know where to put your notes in? So that's things that we're talking about is, you know, does it make sense to have a OneNote at the account level to track all the opportunities and then, you know, have a SharePoint location at the opportunity level to track your files? So we're going to be talking to, again, the executives that have been identified and eventually you guys, the people that are using it, to get your feedback on that, because we don't want it to be having to hunt to where to put it, but we also want it to be logical so that you know where to go when you're looking for something specific.
Right. And I do like that SharePoint capability to essentially edit, but I also want a capability to organize the documents, because on the opportunities that file can that listing of documents can blow up really quickly.
Yep.
And I found it challenging to organize those documents.
Yep, so we're currently coming up with folder structures and naming conventions that we're going to standardize across the board so that, again, you know what it is you're looking for and where it should be.
Cool. Just keep a local copy.
No.
That's what I do.
No. Okay, any other questions? We're right at the top of the hour.
This is great.
Good, glad you enjoyed it. Okay, well, we'll close it out from here. Thanks, everyone, for all your time today. Really appreciate it. If you do have any questions or anything, email anyone from the CRM team. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.